Okay,
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
wild episode.
I was going to rearrange my background, what have you. Going
Oh,
from Iron Man to Wandavision.
I really like the background, so I used it as my virtual background because we all introduced to a slew of new characters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this essentially it deviates. It kind of takes a break from the sitcom world that we
Oh,
all introduced to in the first 3 episodes. And I thought I was expecting the 80s probably this week, but it's probably going to be on tomorrow's episode. But yeah, this was a nice reintroduction into the Marvel Universe. And we now know the timeline. Because this kind of sets in, like, yeah, I would say after everything went down in Avengers Endgame. So this is happening really quick.
yeah. Because I watched it again. That I wrote notes for it too, so that way I have information to share. And watching the first this episode, I kind of like the idea how it tapped into the blip from Spider-Man from Far From Home. We see what's going on. We don't see so much of the WandaVision world, but we see what's going on outside the world of WandaVision.
Yeah.
Which I totally dig too. Is because we're already into the 4th episode, and tomorrow will be the 5th. And seeing the one in the 4th this episode, I like the idea. It was refreshing. We see what's going on outside the world of WandaVision versus inside that world.
Yeah, and when it opens up, I mean, I did like the whole blip sequence because in Spider-Man Far From Home, I mean, the blip happened so fast that I didn't really get to focus on the visual effects too much, but this one kind of elaborated upon that and really, I think it was heavily special effects focused for the first part, and that aspect I liked because I watched it again, and yeah, the visual effects were they intricately well, they play with the skin, and yeah, it was beautiful how they reintroduced that. So
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Because watching this episode from previous ones, I always had a feeling that where Wanda and Vision was, I felt like they were in that dome, like an episode of last week. I was saying I felt like this was Stephen King's Under the Dome. You ever watch that TV show? I kind of got hooked onto it, but Cliff Note version. It's this town. Aliens come and they take a section of this town and they put them under a dome. And watching the episodes, I feel like this is like a Stephen King moment here, because the town's cut off from the world, and they're set in the stone. When I saw Rambo being shot out, I knew it was oh yes, I knew it. I'm thinking in my head, I knew it. The town's under a dome, under an energy field. I had a feeling of that. And that theory was debunked. I'm thinking, yes, I knew it. I was thinking this back in my head. Oh my God. And seeing that, it was we see the outside world. What? Finally, the other world's showing. Oh my God, whoa. I didn't realize who Rambo was when I realized that Muriel Rambo was from Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because I realized that watching the second time around, I was why does that name sound familiar? Then I'm okay, so I'm thinking this idea. Then I went to IMDb and like thinking, okay, where's this name familiar from Captain Marvel? She was the lady, yeah. Then like I was like thinking, yes. So I'm like,
Yes.
oh my god, I was like having like an all real moment in my head. Oh my
Yeah.
god, because I
So
didn't know who Rambo was. I knew Rambo was this time around, but not the first time around. I just thought she was like another agent of Sword.
yeah, that's kind of who I thought at first. I knew it. I knew it revealed it from like the uh, like the stories I've heard on the internet, but I didn't want to kind of give it away just yet because I mean the Marvel thing is usually enshrouded in mystery.
Oh yeah, very
I
much so a
really
mystery.
love that part.
It's
Yeah,
like this seems like the episode as it continues on. It's not like any like TV show. It's like, oh, I can just like watch this and not so much thinking to this. With this one's like you really gotta like pay attention and focus who the characters are. If you feel lost, it's like cloud overshadowed you. That's where you like kind of like search out, use Google as like as a source to follow. Because like I didn't know Rambo was who she was before, because I thought Rambo was just another agent, like Agent Wu. But like obviously Wu's with the FBI. But like I kind of like knew, I just had a feeling she was just another agent. But like when I like learned she was like actually another backstory from Captain Marvel, I was like, oh. Seemed like I just learned that just now, because like watching the first episode, I did not get that at all from the previous one. I kind of like thinking, okay, the curtain just came over my brain.
yeah. So yeah, they not only reintroduced Rambo and Wu, but I see in your virtual background Darcy, and I
Yeah,
really like that they reintroduced her,
I
and
do too.
she she was like the only one in the outside who quickly figured it out at first.
That's why I picked this background, because like this is one of like the cool moments I like, because we see Wu and all the other agents of Sword in the background, and we see
Yeah,
Darcy. They had to bring some sort of astrophysicist into this episode to explain like the science of it, and like I feel like Kat Dennings playing Darcy Lewis, I felt like she played that role really well to like what she was telling us and explaining to us from the science of it. From the CM, like the one of the terms that she threw out was CMBR, and that
yeah,
was an acronym for cosmic microwave broadcast radiation, showing like the science, like what's going on. How come I feel connected to this, where the police does not feel connected to this? So
yeah,
she kind of like brings that perspective.
yeah, and she was the one who was like, I mean, she was like seeing the radio broadcast or the TV broadcast signal, and she's like, I'm gonna need some TVs, some really old ones.
To
And
pick up the signal.
yeah, and they really showed, I liked how they showed episodes 1 through 3, like some of the segments. I mean, you don't really get to see Wanda and Vision pretty much until like the final few minutes of the episode. Um,
Yeah, I noticed that too.
which
Seemed like this was like a backstory to like of all the moments when like the Sword, agents of Sword, and Darcy trying to connect to the Wanda and the people inside. It felt like that was like more of a backstory to that. It was like the fill-in. It's like, oh, there's that. Remember that moment when like Wanda was hearing the Agent Wu off the radio? That's how that happened. Which was
yeah,
like cool where it ties in.
yeah, and I really like that. Like going back to that, um, where we see the moments that were like cut from the broadcast. Um, and yeah, how it played and I I noticed it the second time around watching it, but I really liked, well, I mean, at the end sequence, it goes from sitcom to like actual, like film within the fantasy world, and yeah, and
That ratio.
then it goes back to like regular TV mode at the end. Now,
Yeah, I noticed that too. Sorry, I'm like cutting you off. Go
oh,
ahead, Chris.
that's okay. I mean, we're bouncing off ideas, and I, I, yeah, they explained out in the outside world, Vision was dead. I did not know he was really dead.
Yeah, that did seem like a morbid moment. It was like we assumed that he came back from life. Then, like, we see Vision, it's like, okay, he's actually dead, not like brought back from life. If that was, I felt for me, that was like a morbid moment. At the same time, it was kind of like creative because, like, in the back of our heads, we've seen so far, we
Yeah,
automatically think he's back from the dead. But like seeing that moment was like, okay, kind of morbid, but kind of cool with the effect you're going with. I kind of like dig it. I knew something was off inside that dome within the energy field. And seeing him we're seeing him without the soul stone. We're
yeah,
seeing him looking dead. I totally dig like the effect of that too. It's like, oh my god,
yeah.
this is gonna spicy here with the storytelling.
Yeah. Uh, One of the articles I read, or maybe it was on Wikipedia, kind of referred to it as like a jump scare moment within the Marvel, but I didn't see it as a jump scare. It was more like a big reveal. Um,
Yeah, I felt the same way too. It was more like a reveal than more a jump scare.
yeah,
Because like I didn't feel scared at all. I found that scene very interesting to see. Like, oh, he's not dead; he's alive. It was like, okay, this makes logic sense here.
yeah,
It's not like we're bringing back someone from the ghost world to the real world. You can't really do that with a computer.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that was like the best moment from the series. Then let's see, they also introduced the director of Sword, the Tyler Hayward, who was like, well, first of all, going back, well, we know now that um, Monica uh, Monica was disappeared in the blip, but Maria survived for like another 2 years. So
Yeah, I was like thinking that too because I was kind of like it. It fills in within the gaps of the blip of like what's going on, what's happening.
yeah, like how yeah, and I mean they really kind of set up that whole world nicely, like what happens after uh after the events of Thanos.
With
Um,
Endgame.
but yeah, it gives more of like what's next for the Marvel cinematic universe going forward. Um,
Oh, a thought just popped in my head. I heard somewhere where this episode could be a setup to another Marvel spin-off show with Agent Wu and Darcy, because a lot of people are like talking like they could be like the next X Files, Mulder and Scully,
ah, I
because
I
like the
know,
vibes they were getting like in the background here and like a few
yeah,
other scenes in the episode. I'm
I
like thinking, ooh,
haven't
I can see that like a different take on an X Files show. So
got
like I kind of like learned that the other night. I saw like an ad for it on Facebook from like Screen Rant. I'm thinking, okay. So I like
That
read,
could be
and some
interesting.
people like were like pretty much like saying that like might be the talks are like, oh, let's do a Marvel show with Darcy and Agent Wu as like the next Mulder and Scully. And I'm thinking this could work. I like it. I'm going with this idea.
Yeah, that could be. Let's see. Okay, so those, yeah, this moment, and then uh, obviously they revealed a lot, but they kind of left the door open for more because we've got like probably five more episodes left. So the mystery isn't all solved. I mean, uh, of course, they set up that Wanda is the one controlling the illusion, but it was almost like, uh, is Wanda really doing this, or is there somebody behind?
Bigger playing the strings, and Wanda is the puppet.
Yeah, because or another thought I had was, I mean, Wanda could just be in mourning, and this is how she is dealing with it.
With her grief, yeah, loss of vision. Because like
Yeah,
a few other people are like, I kind of like I follow like rumors and speculation like through online, and like a lot of people thought it was all Wanda, and some people were like thinking it was Manifesto, which is another like villain in this MCU. It's kind of like the devil in MCU, and like watching them like thinking, I think just in my head, I think there's more than what it seems. Seeing Wanda, she's like the puppet master to the world. I
mhm,
can like see that because of her ability, because she can implant thoughts and like and images into people's brain. Because we saw noticed that in Age of Ultron when like Wanda was playing with Tony Stark's mind. Um, who's to say that she's doing that right now with the people inside the town, projecting these images, seeing what's not really there, what's not there, what's really isn't there. If that
yeah,
makes any sense at all, what I just said. But
yeah,
like, I feel like there's someone else, like you said, Chris, like someone behind the curtain, pulling the strings.
yeah, because yeah, when um,
I know she's like one as part of it, because that obviously that was revealed in the episode.
yeah, I mean, yeah, during the scene where Darcy is called in, they did reveal like some of the cast members were actually town inhabitants, and yeah, they revealed all but like two or two of the characters. Obviously, one of them is Dottie, and they didn't have Agnes up on the wall. So um,
And Mr. and Mrs. Hart too, Vision's boss and wife from where he works.
they did have Hart on there, Mr. and
Yeah,
Mrs. Hart. So yeah, so I mean, um, yeah, I'm invested. I kind of you're wanting to see where this goes because yeah, yeah,
I'm invested too as much. It's like, ooh, this is getting like really spicy here. Because
yeah,
when they were like explaining to all the like the missing people in the town, but I like see knowing that obviously Wanda's grieving through the loss of Vision. This could be her grieving moment with everything going on, and it feels like someone's going to take advantage of that of her and manipulate her. Somehow, I just
that
feel that in my gut. I don't know why.
that could be um
Because she's like in a volatile, I should say volatile, in a different state of mind.
yeah, because yeah,
It's like
and,
after events of Endgame.
yeah, um And I really did like, yeah, one of the quotes while talking to that one officer about Westview being a town that doesn't exist. And they're like, where are you from? And he goes, Eastview. So I thought there was little of a funny touch there. So
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. Kind of like cliche that I was like, okay, there's Westview and there's Eastview, but
yeah,
like seeing the different like directional towns named after like I'm thinking okay, but I'm like thinking okay, it works. It's like, what are you talking about? Westview? There's no Westview, and like it was like, don't you like feel it, like a connection here? No, not really. Yeah, I guess you're right. I really don't feel the connection either. But like somehow the cops feel the connection that the town's not real. It's like it's like something in the air.
yeah, and Agent Wu talked about like uh name for the witness protection program or something that disappeared. I um I don't know who that is. Obviously, it's got to be like maybe Mr. Hart or you or somebody there. At first, I was thinking of, I don't know why, but Ant-Man crossed my mind, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. Ant-Man came back from the quantum realm, um, and these are the events that afterwards, so it can't be Ant-Man because he came back. Uh,
Yeah, he did drop like a subtle hint though, because I'm looking for this person. When he's like I'm looking for this person, okay, I'm like thinking he's looking for one person, but not two people. So
yeah,
I'm like that's like somewhat of a like a wink, wink, nod, nod.
yeah, so,
I'm
um,
thinking, okay, I'm kind of curious who one of the residents of Westfield might be that he's like searching for because he was working on that side case that brought him to Westview to then ask like Sword to jump in for help
yeah. Um, I,
because he feels lost.
I saw like the trailer for one of the future episodes, and it kind of sets up the hint. There's, I think, Vision or Vision. I think no, something's up. Um,
Yeah,
but he's gonna try and like escape to the outside world, and I don't know what's gonna happen because in this world he's dead. So
yeah. I'm kind of curious how that'll work since he's in Westview here, and over here is the real world. I'm
yeah,
kind of curious how he's going to cross the threshold, so to speak, into the real world. It's like, what is that going to look like for him? Because like I noticed that too. Is like, something doesn't seem right here, and he's like starting to putting the pieces together. And
yeah,
like I feel like we're gonna like see more of that in the coming episode.
yeah.
Because I saw the same preview too, man.
Yeah, he kind of hints it at the end. Well, she sees the dead face of Vision and is like, "Are you all right? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, fine. This is our home now. I don't ever want to leave this place." And he puts on a smile face at the end, but yeah, he knows something's up. I
Yeah, because he's like putting on that fake smile. It's like a
mhm.
cover. Ah,
Yeah, then and yeah, that's what I like because the white screens just for the dramatic moments, and then pulling back into like the 4x3 um 4x3 TV box thing that you see. It's like oh, now we're back into our own private world. So, yeah,
I noticed that too, the aspect ratios. How it went from like to this, then like shifted to this.
yeah,
I thought that was really clever too.
yeah, I got Disney Plus in my room finally, and Exorcism, and I was rewinding it like that scene like 2 or 3 times because yeah, just my that's kind of one of my favorite scenes from this episode and the whole takeaway. If nothing, it's just yeah that going in and going back. So yeah,
That's a cool scene too. One of the favorites that I noticed that I liked was like the scene when Darcy's eating chips and like Wu's like checking in on her. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" "I'm good," and she's like talking about the other show, and Wu's like, "Seemed like highly invested in this." "Oh yeah, very much." "Chip?" I totally like that chemistry there. I don't know why. I thought it was just hilarious.
yeah, and she says something like twins. What a twist! Did not see
What a
that
twist.
coming.
You seem highly invested in this. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
How can anyone not be?
and he's like, I imagine like a little Jimmy Woo with like a little police badge.
Yeah, giving him a little badge. I thought that was cool.
And then yeah, you really like the twist where it's like, did she just name drop Ultron? Because that's about the moment that everything changed and it's like a big reveal almost.
Very much. Because we like really see like what's been going on with Darcy too, on top of that.
Yes, yeah, this whole story has changed a lot since Thor and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
There,
so
there's not like much I can like say in that, like, but we all we see is like more of like a follow up. It's like, oh, okay, so she's been doing stuff, and obviously we actually see her again because it's been a while. Because last time I saw Darcy was like in Thor: Dark World, because
yeah,
that's been like how many movies apart? A lot. And
yeah,
it's kind of like new that we see her back again. It's like, okay, I was like hoping when she was like going to come in with episode. Then like showing the flashbacks, like, oh, she was the one that was watching Wanda and Vision on the screens at the end of each episode because they kind of like show that connection, you know?
yeah. I had a feeling because yeah, they did show like in the trailers leading up to it, and think I think if now I could be wrong, but I think they're setting up for her to because I don't know if she's gonna be the one to go inside as well, um, and kind of check out like Westview, but that might be a good idea.
Yeah,
Um,
it would. See where it goes from now until the next episode in. Because
mhm.
it feels like it's going to get even darker, just like the tone.
Oh yeah,
Because we kind of like seeing like WandaVision already. Seem like in the next few episodes ahead, I feel like we're going to see more of the outside world than in the WandaVision world.
yeah, but I mean, I still do how I still love how they like do like the sitcom world because that's good too. But yeah, that's kind of like Wanda trying to imagine her life as as a family, which didn't happen because of the events from like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, I've heard somewhere where this could tie in between. So we like see Infinity War here, Endgame here. I feel like we're going to see like WandaVision will be smack in the middle between those two. Then another rumor I heard that this could be the one after the events of Endgame.
Ah,
So it's like between the two.
yeah, because of that would be interesting because of the 3-week time frame,
Yeah,
puts
if
it.
that makes any sense to you. But like, I feel like it's going to like, I could be wrong. But it feels like we're going to see some sort of connection from after Endgame. Because in Endgame, she looked pretty angry. Obviously, just obviously because she was dating Vision.
Yeah, she was dating Vision, and saw like Vision dying like twice. One
Yeah,
time like as a sacrifice, but the second time out of like spite. Well, Thanos was playing with the time and then grabbed it out of him, which resulted in a more violent death than the first. And then she is one of the people who disappears. But yeah, she does come back really pissed afterwards.
yeah,
And then
which is natural.
does does take part in the Thanos, but yeah, for her it's like okay, we killed Thanos. Now what?
Yeah, what's the next thing?
But
Who's the
my
next
boy
baddie?
died.
Yeah,
So
I'm hearing that Manifesto could be the next big guy, bad villain. But like that's like speculation and gossip there too.
yeah,
But I'm kind of curious.
that could be. That could be.
But
So
like that's the only theory that I have right now. But I feel like there's going to be obviously there's going to be some sort of new baddie. We just don't know the name yet. But like I'm hearing that like Tobey Maguire could be in this. Spoiler drop there. Yeah.
oof.
So like
Yeah,
towards the end.
because yeah, I did hear
I'm
like
not sure how confirmed that is though.
like in one of the articles, they did say there's could be a big name cameo, like with the Mandalorian. Um, and I've read it. I haven't seen the episode of the Mandalorian, but yeah, I know what they're talking about, and yeah,
I've seen The Mandalorian. I'm like all up to speed. But like I feel the same way too. There's going to be like a popular actor or actress will be appearing in the WandaVision. As far as who, it could be Strange. I'm speculating because there's like hints of that.
yeah,
Obviously, Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker from the other world, Spider World. Those are like the only two that I'm aware of. If there's
yeah.
another person, I probably just don't know it yet
I
as
could
far as information.
I could see Doctor Strange coming in here if this is being connected to the Doctor Strange sequel.
Yeah, because there's going to be a connection with that somehow, somewhere in the lineup of episodes. But like, I'm kind of curious when that will come into play. But like, it'll be kind of like cool to see Doctor Strange in this because it kind of like makes more sense because that's his wheelhouse because he deals with different worlds because with the magic and the mystery of things
Yeah, yeah,
unexplained, I should say.
it'd be really fun to see what happens in episode 5 through 9.
Yeah,
And I kind of wish Taylor was here. Um, yeah, he would be speculating all over about this.
oh yeah, he'll be like jumping off the board like a chipmunk, which is good because he's really animated when you get the press the Marvel button on him.
Yeah,
because there was like a lot of speculations he was like spitting out from Manifesto to what was the other one? Somehow, the only my brain's being like thinking on the spot, because he always kept going off on how like another one was just popped in my head is like the longer the episodes will get longer versus like a 30-minute will become 36 minutes, then it'll become 40 minutes, then become 50 minutes.
yeah,
Because that was another one he was like talking about.
yeah. I noticed that too with each of the episodes.
Because it seems longer as it goes as the episodes goes on.
Yeah, it gets more into detail, so we'll probably see like an expansion, like in the last two. Well, it's like stretches to like maybe 40, 45, or 50 minutes even.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what the final episode running time will be.
Because,
Like
yeah,
45, 50, close to an hour.
also, yeah, I've looked on because I'm going to do the same thing with maybe and Falcon and the Winter Soldier are like 40 to 50 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, that could be like the final kind of lead-in episode to this, because I could see the finale running like easily an hour tops.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like I don't think it'll go like over an hour unless they have something in store for us as an audience.
That could be. That could be. Um.
Because it does
Oh.
feel like watching a movie. Sorry, Chris.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Um. Yeah. If I played this as movie, I this would go back like 3 weeks after. Then I would watch each episode, and then like the Darcy commentary would be somewhere right in between the
Oh,
episodes. So, all right, so I think that's about it. So,
gotcha.
thank you, Ryan. I wish more people came.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll just keep plugging away.
Yeah,
I feel these are cool because I'm like a big Marvel guy and like doing these Marvel talks. I enjoy it because it's like I'm sharing like thoughts and reactions and moments within the short show and
yeah,
everything.
that's what I like.
It's the
That,
camaraderie and the talking about Marvel movies because I'm like a big, huge Marvel fan. I'm like a Marvel fan and a DC fan. If you ask me which one, I'm gonna be in between. I like them all. I like them both. I'll check mark all the above.
all right, so
All right.
yeah, episode 5 is tomorrow. So thanks, Ryan.
Anytime. See you, Chris.
All right,
Peace.
peace. And that's it. So yeah, episode 5 is tomorrow. Um, and I will be talking about episode 5. Not usually I have it on Wednesday at 7 to 8, but I think this new time frame will work out better for me. So it is starting next week. The new time will be Thursday from 5 to 6. So thank you, and I'll see you next week. This is Chris Buckle. If you guys want to talk about Marvel, we're all part of the same group, so I'll talk to you later. Good night.